Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I am Ashley. I'm a homeschooling mom with 7 kiddos. We were in public school currently, and we are now on our 4th year of homeschooling. I wanted to do a video today on things that I do not do as a homeschool mom. I feel like there's so many videos and things that people do because they think they're supposed to do it, because let's say they see people on YouTube, on their channels, everybody doing these things, and that's just not the case. There are a number of things that I do not do as a homeschooling mom that maybe I thought I was going to do, and I actually toyed around with the idea of doing some of these things at the beginning, and then I said, nope, it's not for me. I don't know. Some of these you might relate to, and some of these you might think are a good idea after you watch this video. I don't know, which is fine. Everybody's homeschool is different. Every homeschooling mom is different. Everybody's kids learn differently. I can't stress that enough. One thing that we have never done, but I did think about at the beginning, is a morning basket. Like I said, I have 7 kids. There are things that would make my kids lose their attention. And I feel like morning basket would be one of those things. We are always, we're constantly busy. Getting school done and getting everybody done at the end of the day is sometimes a task, depending on what we have going on that day. And morning basket, although I love the idea of sitting down and doing read alouds. Now, I will do read alouds with my older kids sometimes when it comes to either science or history or something like that. So we do a read aloud, but it's not like a designated time where we sit down, where I have like an actual basket or an actual cart and I say, okay, we're going to sit down and we're going to, spend 30 minutes reading these books or, doing these read alouds or whatnot. If I have a theme of the month or a theme of the season, then I will integrate that into my actual homeschool, into whatever subjects, or I will take a couple days out of the month or a day out of the month or whatever to do those activities. Or maybe every Friday we do those activities, an activity relating to fall or Christmas or wherever. And that is how I incorporate those things. I do not have a designated time where I sit and say, okay, we are doing morning basket and calling it that. I feel like it's like, I don't want to say fluff, because like if you do morning basket, that's amazing, because I feel like if you do that and you find the time for it and you designate and set aside that time, then that's perfect. But for me, it's just a lot. I try and get everything done, and to get everything done with all the kids and all the distractions and all the, everything that goes on in my house, it's just hard. So if you don't know what morning basket is, you can find so many YouTubing moms, homeschool moms on YouTube that do this. It's a great concept. It really is. But it's just something that I've never done. And to be honest, I really did try and think about it at the beginning, and then I just nixed the idea, because I said, I just can't with all of the kids. And if we do something together, we do it. It's more of a spur of the moment thing. It's like, hey, I have this book. Let's sit down and read this for a minute. Not a designated sit down time. I have mentioned this before. I will link my video that talks about my flow schedule. We do not do hour by hour. I will not say that we have never done this, because at the very beginning, that was my mentality, was that we had to do it that way, because we came from public school and that is how my kids operated, and that is how I have known to operate. But we do not do that. We do not do hour by hour. I do not set aside an hour for math, and an hour for reading, and an hour for science, and I do not do that. And like I said, very quickly I learned that that was not going to work in my house. So I have never done an hour by hour schedule after I started homeschooling and realized what I was comfortable doing. Um, some people do that, and people that are much, much, much more organized than me, or maybe have fewer kids than me, um, sometimes it works. For my house, it does not work. So don't be discouraged if that strict schedule does not work for you, because it does not work for everybody. I have 5 here. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, yes, I have 5 here. So that was number 2. This is number 3, making my kids get up early to start school. Again, I'm going to kind of take away like the first month of homeschooling that we ever did, because I had so many different expectations then that I feel like that month doesn't even count. Like as far as ideas that I had, or, these great thoughts and what I thought was going to work, or what I didn't think was going to work might end up working. It's the opposite, I feel like, of everything that I knew or thought I knew, if that makes sense. I let my kids sleep in, and really my kids do not sleep past 8:15, 8:30 at the very latest. That is the latest that they will sleep. And so I don't have to worry about that. And I'm okay with that. We get up, we get started usually by 9:30 or 10, unless we have somewhere that we're going, an appointment or something. We are starting by 9:30 or 10. And that's totally fine. Like, I am okay with that. It lets me sleep in. If I have kids that are crashing at 2 and 3 o'clock before like their extracurricular activities, that's kind of a nightmare. So I let them sleep in. The ones that nap, and that's it. I just I'm not a get up at 7:30 and have your kids do chores, and that's great. If they want to get up early and then I can give you some to do, but I am not going to make it a point to have them do that every day. I don't think it's necessary. Using the same curriculum for every subject. That I can say there is not one year that I have done the same curriculum, even for each child, the same curriculum, use the same curriculum company for every subject. I will use the majority for things like, for example, The Good and the Beautiful. I use that for quite a bit, but there is a lot that I also piece together. History I do differently. Science is kind of touch and go. Math, depending on the grade level. My oldest does not do The Good and the Beautiful because they don't have it. So in his grade level, 7th grade. And so it's not super, super important to me to like get a curriculum company and just stick to it. So using the same curriculum company for all subjects, I don't do. Some people, gravitate towards one curriculum company and then that's all they use. And that's fine. But I've just never felt that is a huge deal. I either like it or I don't. If it's within the curriculum company, I either like the subject or I don't. I'm just not married to the idea of sticking to one curriculum company. And finally, forcing them to use a curriculum that they do not like. I have not done that. At the beginning, I will say, do you like this? How is this working for you? Do you feel like, especially my older ones, do you feel like you're understanding this? Is this a good way to teach this subject, that you're grasping the concepts? And I have changed it around quite a bit, actually, for my older kids, because they can tell me a little bit more. I am kind of still evaluating and assessing my first graders, and what she likes to do. She can read, but it's like a task to get her to read. And it is such a hassle sometimes. And so picking out the character books and things like that have been great because she likes to do that, or she likes to read it to me. And again, praising them when they do something like extraordinary really helps with their confidence. And so I found that to be true for my younger kids especially. And so I don't force them. If just because I love the curriculum, if they are not understanding that curriculum choice, that company and how that company, you know, teaches this subject, I do not worry about it. So if it doesn't work well with my kids, regardless of how I feel like, how I like the teaching aspect of it, I don't force my kids to keep that curriculum piece. We will find what works best for each kid. And I think that's the beauty of the homeschooling atmosphere and life, is that you can pick and choose. And if something does not work well for one kid but works well for another, that's okay. And you have to understand that, and you have to be adaptable to that, and know that you could have, 20 some odd different curriculum pieces for 5 different kids. Like, it's just, that's how it might end up, because your kids learn differently. All of your kids learn differently. So keep that in mind too. Do not force your kids to stick with a curriculum if they hate it. If they hate it, it's going to be miserable on you and miserable on them. So just 5 things that I do not do as a homeschooling mom. I maybe started off doing these at the very beginning, but like I said, I don't even pay attention to that first month. I act like it didn't happen. Any decisions that I made during that first month, I'm kind of like, because it's kind of irrelevant at this point, 4 years later. Not that my decisions were wrong at that point, but it's what I felt comfortable doing then. And then I kind of learned stuff along the way, and then now I do things differently. So let me know down below if there are things that you do not do as a homeschool mom that you feel like everybody else does. Let me know. Questions, comments, concerns, anything. Shoot me an email or leave a comment down below. And I will see you guys next time. Take care.